Greetings, mortals. It is I, Remortis, and welcome back to Age of Wonders 4 with another Ravnica build. This time, we're doing Izzet. Lots of fire, lots of magic, lots of summons, lots of lightning. This build focuses on magic users and support casters, so lots of explosions everywhere. Let's get into it. I bring you the Izzet League, which is a combination of Astral, Chaos, and Materium. This is a very fun build, and there's lots of really good synergies. You're going to have tons of mana, tons of magic users, lots of summons, and lots of money. Let's get right into it. So, I chose the Goblinoids, because I think that the Goblins are a very thematic and quintessential race of the Izzet faction. At least until we get that Dragon Lord faction, was it the add-on or DLC? Anyhow, for the traits, I just decided to go with quick reflexes because you're going to be fielding a lot of mages and they're vulnerable to missiles, so why not give yourself a chance to dodge them better. And then we got Arcane Focus, which increases our magic users' projectile damage, which is an obvious choice since we're going to have a lot of magic users in both support units and casters. And then for the race, we decided to go with Mystic. It just feels so good. It flows really well. Anytime you cast a spell, it buffs all your units with these abilities called Star Blades. You also get the Astral Echoes. Grants you mana and knowledge and blah blah blah. It's a really fun faction, really solid units. The spear units are kind of whatever, but everything else is pretty good. For the culture traits, I opted to go with Mana Edicts. However, if you don't have this unlocked yet, there's plenty of other options to go for. If you can't get that, we can go ahead and use Mana Channelers, since we're going to be using a lot of summons. Pretty solid. It'll help you save money on your mana for at least the initial cost. Gifted Casters, we're going to be casting a lot of stuff. Not a bad thing to grab. Ancient Wise Ones, you could do that if you just want to tech a lot. Not a problem. You could grab Perfection Arsonist if you have that unlocked. You can grab Powerful Evokers. This will help increase your battle mages, and each one will provide combat points. Really good ability to have, and it will also give you Shadow Tech Tree. If you were that way, yeah, it will get you the Shadow Tech Tree, unlocking other potentials for the build. Good stuff. And then we also have Runesmiths. I prefer this one of the Materiums. You can go with that taller one, the Perfectionist, but the Runesmith is just fine because we're going to be doing a lot of enchantments on this build. And it's also one that you don't have to worry about unlocking, so Runesmith's a solid choice, and I went with Mana Edicts. Anyhow, let's get into it. Unfortunate start here. Usually, sometimes you get a Battle Mage and then a shield unit. Anyhow, let's get right into the books. So, I like to start off with the Pyromancy book. You can start off with the book Evocation, because those are the two we're going to grab on this first tier. But I like to get the Pyromancy first, just because I like to have multiple elements to grow my tech tree. So, the choices we want to choose here are the Pyromancer, very solid unit. It's not amazing, but it does a job, does work, does damage. Good to go. You definitely want to pick up the Lesser Magma Spirit, because you're going to be fielding a lot of elementals and summons. Because summons I really underestimated, and they're very fantastic in this game. They just help you for surprise attacks, sudden defenses, and because we're going to have all kinds of different summons, so just having them on ready to go whenever you need them, because you can cast them ahead of time, or like a few turns ahead, and then they're just ready to go, and you can just summon them whenever you need them. It's either to bolster your forces on the front lines, or to help defend an attacker against an attacker that you didn't realize was coming. Yeah, I'll have some warnings though, because as these level up, once they get to the champion level, they evolve into a Magma Spirit, which is a tier 3 unit, and it costs a lot more mana to field, so be careful if you get those too early, because you might not be able to support them with unless your magic economy is really good. Anyways, another option to pick here is the Searing Blades. It's pretty decent. You're going to be fielding some melee units, mostly to act as deterrents or distractions for your backline. Yeah, it's not a bad choice to have, and that's also why I decided to go with pyromancy first, because this book is going to have the least of the two, and I like to usually get some of the mystic abilities as well from the Artec tree. Immolate is a decent spell if you just want a burn spell. Doesn't load a bit of damage, and it just helps you keep casting spells and whatnot. Fiery arrows, do not grab this one because we are not using any archers in this build. And this will provide your heroes with fire attacks if they are melee, because unless you have a bow hero, but I don't think you will most of the time. I usually opt for my second hero is usually like a tanky hero, or I try to make it a tanky hero. And then you got your ritual. Then you got your ritual pyre, which will help you get more mana if you have a bunch of foresters. I don't tend to end up getting a lot of towns that have foresters. I usually opt for other things, but this is still a nice option to have. All right, now let us go over to the Tome of Evocation. You're pretty much going to go grab almost everything on this tree. So throughout the game, even if you don't get it before your next tome, it's totally fine. So this one, Lightning Focus, it just adds lightning damage to all of your support units and mage abilities, or their auto attacks, which is great. It gives them a chance to get electrified, which just gives them like a lightning dot. Really good ability, really good enhancement, fun stuff. Fulmination, this is a much better first level spell. Lightning damage, AoE, and it gives a lightning dot. Pretty good. Lightning Blades, same thing as the Searing Blades. Will help ramp up your melee units. Not bad to have. And then here's another Spirit. Another Summon. Good stuff. Evokers. Same thing as the Pyromancer, except this one's a little bit better since a lot less things are resistant to lightning. And then there's an ability here. It's actually a pretty good global ability. This is what you cast before you get into a battle. You can cast this on them as you're chasing them or you're about to engage. This will immediately do damage. So when you do get in combat, it'll immediately do 20 damage to everything, and not only that, it will reduce their lightning damage resistance, so even better. And then the building here is fantastic. It's the channeling tower, because you can build it anywhere in any of your provinces, and it can replace anything. So you can that way you can combo with other conduit buildings. Such as this one itself. It will combo with itself as well. But and then you got lightning weapons for your hero. Great stuff all around. Alright, for your tier 2, I really enjoy picking up the Tome of Artificing. This will help you unlock artisan armaments, which gives just flat 30% chance to everybody, all units. Iron Golem. This is a very good unit. At least it's a really good tank unit to start. Because you're going to be, like I said, you're going to be focusing on magic and such, and range users, so this is a nice little front line. It is only high armor, so you got to be careful with its resistance. The magic will destroy it, so make sure you have your support casters behind it to give it resistances. And then siege magic is okay, just flat 10% bonus to all your support units and battle mages. This is an okay trait to get, but the two primary ones you want to get are the artisan armaments and the iron golem. And then you got the crossbow or the construct bolt repeaters, which is a decent side project or siege project. And then the artisan fortification is pretty solid too, but I never seem to have needed to build any fortifications on any of my playthroughs so far. Anyways, as for the buildings, you get, oops, I keep doing that. You get the Golem Mine, produces 10 gold and gives you a ton of production if you combo it with your quarries, which could happen if you have it aligned that way. And then it also cancels mine, so you can get bonuses off of that as well. And then the other issue, or not the other issue, but the other bonus is it will create an iron golem to fight in your domain. So even if you weren't able to get your summons to help defend your capital or whatever town it is, at least have one iron golem to help protect it. And then speaking of golems, this is another really good reason I enjoy having this trait. This will provide your heroes, any heroes that grab this will provide a tier 1 little tiny golem. Really good, just a nice little fodder to distract your opponent and help protect your mages even further. And it's a free unit you unlock off of the support skills, and that's usually what you're going to focus on your hero. Alright, Tome of Artificing. Very good for this build. And then we move on to our next two tomes. You can choose whichever one you want. You could choose between the Tome of Mayhem. This will give you a summon to make gremlins. Infectious Insanity. It seems like a decent spell, but it doesn't really work out the way you would like it to. Mark of Misfortune is pretty solid because it will allow all of your units to, or at least all your support units, and if you end up having ranged units, it'll give them the ability to inflict fumble, which is great. Makes them lose their damage. And the Curse of Misfortune, just debuff spell to give them fumble. Not bad. Not a bad book. And then same thing with your hero. But out of the tier 2 books that you could choose from, for your second book anyways, I prefer going with Tome of Amplification. This is a really good book for our build. Amplified Arrows, obviously we're not using archers, so don't use that one. Go for the Conjured Amplification Pylon. This will summon just a big unit that 60 health, will distract your opponents for a little bit. It'll shoot them lightning at them with their lightning bolt, but the main reason we want to grab this is it will give you 20% more damage on all of your spells that you cast. Really good, good ability. Only in combat, obviously. And then here's a really good enhancement for your battle mages and support units, which is called Frenzy. Every time they attack, they will gain the stacking buff that will increase their damage output. Great ability, especially on your battle mages who can hit up to 3 times. Stack up so that in the next turn, they'll hit for upwards of 30% more damage. Another ability to help skyrocket your research and knowledge is Amplify Minds. Pretty good, just be careful with the city stability, so make sure you got some taverns and stuff to compensate against it. Then you got the Astral Blood, which is just another transformation to all your units to give them fortune whenever you cast spells, and we're going to be casting lots of spells, so this is really good. And then we got Chain Lightning, another really good AoE ability. Good stuff. This is a really good book for this build. Everything's good here except for the arrows. Don't touch that. Alright. Here is another conduit building. This one does not require you to, or doesn't care about other conduits near it, so this is one that you're going to have on the border of your conduits, or your conduit farms. Good stuff. You can turn anything into it. It also increases your world map combat casting points, so if you want to go kind of wide and have this on each of your towns, that way you can cast more summons outside. And then, also, you get the ability to, the hero ability, Spell Amplification, which will further increase your spells by 20%. And I believe it stacks with the Conjure Amplification Pylon, so definitely use both of those. Alright, Tome of Amplification, good stuff. On to Tier 3. So Tier 3, we also have the Tome of Summoning. You don't need to necessarily rush this book right away, you can come back to it. It has a few good abilities here. You got Arcane Restoration, which is good to heal all of your summons, also known as Magic Origin. I don't know why they don't just say summons. Arcane Supercharge, I don't ever use this spell, but it is a decent, pretty solid buff spell on if you have like one particularly strong unit. Arcane Bond, this will let you mind control anybody else's summons. Good stuff. Summon Astral Serpent. These are really annoying units that can disrupt your enemies. They have a teleport that will jump over to something and smack them or everything around it. And then again is a buff called Refuge. So if it's hit by anything at all, it immediately fades out or phases out and can't move and it can't be attacked. So it's just there to be annoying. Here's another really good ability, I think. It's Conjure Astral Keeper. It'll summon this creature, which is has a heal and it does lightning damage. So basically, if you need healing on the fly, you just summon this, and you can also use it as a sacrifice. Just throw it in front of your enemies or your friends, and then heal yourself, and then just let it do its own thing. Good stuff. Here's another good conduit stacking building, summoning well, and then here's another hero ability. To make another free unit, the Astral Wisp, and most likely your character, or at least your main character, should be going down the magic line as well as the support line, so be able to get the Golem and the Wisp. So Tome of Summoning, I give it as a pretty solid book, but you don't need to rush it. You can come back to it. Let's move on to the Books of Chaos, and I believe the book we choose here, you choose Tome of Pandemonium. Summon Chaos Eater. It's a pretty solid battle mage. Good stuff. Does chaos. Makes a bunch of random effects happening. Pretty crazy. It's not that crazy, but it's pretty fun. Hysteria, just max a bunch of debuffs, cool stuff. Havoc Magic, another buff to all your casters. Makes sure their auto attacks inflict random negative statuses. Not bad. Insight Revolution, you can mess around with that. I haven't touched it yet because I've been teching with other things. Vessels of Chaos also allows them to increase their damage whenever they're inflicted with negative statuses. So not bad, not a bad ability. And then you got Havoc Magic, same thing with your hero. Pandemonium, this might be a book you're gonna grab if you want to advance further into the Chaos trees. Alright, and then let's go to the Materium. And I like to go with both of these abilities. It's up to you which one you want. You can go to the Tome of Transmutation, which will give you another Battle Mage. Gives you Petrify, Shift Bolts, blah blah blah. A few perks to your other units. Some Adaptive Armor to enhance your front line. Steel Skin, it's a decent buff for your front line as well, or whoever needs it. And then you got some other little perks. You don't have to pick this one. Tome of Terramancy is always fun because you get another Elemental. However, this one summons a tier 3 version, so it's always going to be expensive. And then you get some cool Earth abilities in Seismic Shock, Crushing Earth, and then also Earth Shatter, which can actually shape the world for you. You can get rid of mountains or anything that's in your way with this ability. It's pretty good. And then Tremor Ritual at the start of combat. This is a siege ability. It just helps you break shit. And then you got Leaden Blows for your melee heroes if you want it. But yeah, so Tome of Terramancy is pretty solid. Let's go back to the Astral Tree, and I believe... Let me double check something. Alright, another tome you can grab is the Astral Tome of Teleportation. Gives you the Phase Beast, which is a pretty solid unit. If it gets hit once, it gets phased out, and it gets teleported somewhere else, so it'll interrupt people's multiple hits. At least for the first time they get hit by attacker. Mastery Call. It's good for teleporting your army back to your nearest own city, so if they need to get healed up, or you want to move them somewhere else, good stuff. Emergency Teleportation makes the closest allied unit teleport within 4 hexes of the target hex and heals this ally for temporary hit points. Pretty nice combat trick. Then you got another gold income ability, or gold income structure, and then you get the Enphasing enhancement on all of your battle casters or your battle mages and support units. This is a really good enhancement, a good defensive tool, which will also combo with the ability, that racial trait we chose to dodge arrows. So not only will that archer have a chance to miss, but it'll also cancel the rest of their attacks because they'll be phased. They'll be teleported away. And you also will give a teleport ability for your hero. And then you also get a Chronogate building, which will act as a teleporter. Good stuff. And it's a teleporter with upside, in that you get mana combination or combos and knowledge combos. Good stuff. Good book. Alright, and I think that's it for now. Okay. So, then, what I really enjoy is the Tier 5 books. Or sorry, Tier 4. Tier 4 book. Materium. Tome of the Crucible. You get Lava Burst, huge fire damage on on a 2 hex radius. It's huge. Fortified Crucible, city structure, neat. It's mostly a defensive thing. You don't really need it. Pyroclastic Eruption, great ability to fuck with your opponents if you want to do that. It's a province ability, so you can mess with your opponents, and I know you shouldn't do that unless you really just say screw you, and you can burn them. Meteor Arrows, no one cares. We don't use archers. Meteor Shower. Very good combat spell. Good stuff. Between Lava Burst and Meteor Shower, you'd be burning everyone alive. And then you got the Great Foundry, which will just help you get more money, and if you combo it correctly, you can get a lot of draft and more money on top of that. And then you got Meteor Strikes on your melee and ranged heroes, which will do AoE fire damage. Pretty solid book. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then there's some other different chaos books that you could choose from. You can mix and match as you go, but usually I end up getting the ending the game around this time. Depending on the map you're playing, you'll have longer. And I believe this is all. Yep, that's pretty much the build. I'll go into the heroes now, and let's go check them out. All right. So with our hero, you're going to want to focus on your support abilities. In Experienced Leader, to give your Tier 1 units more experience. I like to pick up Restore to help him help as an emergency healer if we need it. Pick up Inspiring Leader for lower unit upkeep. And then you should be able to, at this point, be able to pick up the Golem ability. If you're at that far. If not, no worries. You can probably pick up Combat Casting to give you more combat magic points. I also like to pick up the Resistance and Defense traits if you need them. Probably Defensive Training over Resistance Training because it gives 2 perks, whereas just Resistance. And then Precision Training is what you're going to also want to get to help your range guys hit better. And then you can also pick up some magic traits in Channel Power because you're going to be casting a lot of spells. You can pick up these other spells. I don't usually pick them up too often, but if I have extra points, I will. Like the Fire, the Lightning, Magecraft too, because if you're going to be attacking with orbs, you obviously could pick up the Magecraft. Same thing with the Distant Evocation. It helps you attack from further away. And then Arcane Strength will help boost your character up as well. I probably should use Weaver, but I've never gotten to the point where I gotten to use it yet. And that's pretty much it for the hero. As for your ultimate abilities, unfortunately I don't have it unlocked on this game at the moment. It's just level 1. But usually try to focus on the abilities that will summon elementals or summon animals. Or my favorite ones from Chaos is the giant AOE fire abilities. Those are amazing. So, yeah, easy stuff with the hero. Alright, I hope you guys like that build. I will post a video further to show you what it looks like in the mid and late game to play as these folks. It's a lot of fun, high octane, lots of damage everywhere, lots of explosives, especially when you start getting all those abilities that buff up your battle mages and your support units. It just gets pretty insane. Alright friends, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell.